Hey guys, I'm JanetOnOccasion, and today we're playing another Total War Warhammer II Battle Replay. This one is a fun one. This is sent in by Flying Taco, and he's against Hero of Rome. So two very skilled players here. Probably seen Flying Taco in many of Turin's Flash tournaments, and also Hero Rome. He's done the round, certainly on my channel. He was in the first community clash. That's the one. So two great players here, and this is an interesting one. It is Chaos versus High Elves, and that's a hell of a matchup, right? I think we can all agree with that. I mean, it's a classic. I mean, High Elves, they've always fought, always stood against Chaos, and that's what they're going to be trying to do, while Chaos tries to murder them for it. So here you can see Chaos Marauders in the front line, so some cheap infantry here, but there are some Chaos Warriors mixed in as well as Chaos Warriors with great weapons. Thing is, the Chaos Warriors, ton of armor, really good defensive stats. They will just kill spearmen and anything like that without even breaking a sweat. And the Chaos Warriors are great weapons. They're a lot better at chopping through those more expensive units. So things like the White Lions, the Swordmasters of Hoeth, stuff like that. Swordmasters of Hoeth, though, they will beat all of these infantry. But there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them. He has a ton. And Chaos Marauders right on the edges, they're going to be great for flanking around, because this is quite a wide army for Chaos. And High Elves don't tend to have the widest armies. Here, though, there are some Chaos Knights with lances. These guys will shred any Swordmasters. They'll have a wonderful time doing that. They get a nice charge off. They do a ton of work. I mean, 80 charge bonus on the Chaos Knights with Lances. Then get a lot of work done. But it's a very expensive unit, and of course there is no healing. So this initial damage they're receiving from all these Illyrian Reavers will add up a bit. It's not going to do a huge amount. They have a ton of armor and bronze shields, but you can see they are getting whittled down. They don't want that to happen. Over here there are a couple of Exalted Heroes, so very punchy Air Force here. There's also a Chaos Sorcerer Lord of Shadows. Because he is the spellcaster, he's not going to have as good combat stats as the standard Chaos Lord. So it is nice to have these Exalted Heroes as well, but being able to pick your target with an Air Force like that is wonderful. So, Chaos Lord of Shadows, he has Penundral Pendulum. That is a lovely spell for killing spearmen in just a heartbeat. Just one swoop, you can chop through like 3 spearmen really happily. They don't have the armor to withstand that, but if you overcast it, it will do really well against things like Swordmasters, which is also super useful. Also here, Enfeebling Foe, good on any target that you're in melee with. I mean, it's just a go-to debuff. It's the best debuff. It's so cheap, you can use it all the time on different units. Really helps swing a matchup. Also, Melkot's Mystifying Miasma helps to slow things down, and that helps when you don't have the quickest lines, and you're expecting things like Illyrian Reaver Archers. Getting some damage on them and slowing them down is nice. It lets the Chaos Knights catch up, and with that charge bonus, these guys will die immediately. So, Illyrian Reaver Archers, the Heralds of the Wind, so Illyrian Reaver Archers again, but a lot quicker. 105 speed these guys have got. It's crazy. So there's more over here. A Mage of High Magic, so very nice. Tempest is going to hurt a lot here. A lot of flyers and 1 Tempest. So very scary. Also Apotheosis and Soul Quench. So some great stuff there. Both of the items to get extra magic, and there is a Princess on a Star Dragon. The Princess on a Star Dragon will be able to do a ton of damage to this stuff, but she does not want to get bullied by 3 units at once. This is very, very risky. Tempest, of course, will help, and none of these Chaos units can heal. It's only the Princess that can do that. The rest of the line, Signs of Mathlan, for some damage resistance to nearby units. 3 Swordmasters and 3 Spearmen. That is it. Speeding things up. Tempest in just full swing here. Doing a lot of damage, spreading it out between these 3 units that are all caught up in it. So that is absolutely wonderful for the High Elves, and very bad for Chaos. You can see the Lord is the one getting targeted, and he is suffering horribly. And now the archers are firing up to try and help, but that princess has suffered a lot. Enfeebling Foe, putting her melee defense down at 27. That's pretty damn low when you're fighting elite things like Exalted Heroes. So she's under a lot of pressure here. She will be able to heal, but she has to get away from this stuff first. So over here you can see the Chaos Knights did actually just keep pushing through, and rather amazingly, the Illyrian Reaver Archers charged into the back of them to pin them in place long enough for the Spearmen to catch up. And these guys have taken a lot of damage now. Now the best thing here to do is to dive the Princess, into the Chaos Knights. It means that if the Exalted Heroes decide to follow, they would get pinned down by all these spearmen, and they would suffer a lot more damage. The Princess would be able to pull out, and hell, Heralds of the Wind could even charge in to pin them in place and let the spearmen do their work. And it's not just spearmen, there's Swordmasters in here too. So you can see the Chaos Knights, very valuable unit, very injured. Here you can see Chaos Sorcerer Lord, very injured, and it looks like another Tempest is about to come down. So he is also diving down to try and avoid that Tempest. So here, now the Princess is diving in, which is a bold move indeed. And now Heralds of the Wind are running in to pin these guys in place, and a really nice pendulum doing some good work to all of these units. Not the best hit across them, but it didn't do too badly. You can see their health has gone down considerably, and now Marauders are able to flank around the back, which will certainly help, and the Chaos Knights are having to run the other way because these Marauders and just 2 Marauders fighting these Spearmen. That's going to take a while, and these Chaos Warriors are having to try and fend off Swordmasters, which is never going to end well for them. So here, a Melkos on the Illyrian Reaver Arch to try and slow him down, a Breath Attack coming in for the Chaos Sorcerer Lord, but he's got away. He managed to avoid that. So he's doing pretty well. Here you can see the Chaos Knights are bogged down, but they are trying to wipe out these Illyrian Reaver Archers, and here the Exalted Heroes have both managed to dive on top of that Mage. Of course, the Princess could do a lot of work to these two, but she does not want to get bogged down here, especially when there's Chaos Knights nearby. So that's very risky, but sadly, the Chaos Sorcerer Lord actually got broken here. Only 70 armor. Those spears will actually put in some work. So he's trying to come in here for a quick terror, but he just couldn't. And he didn't want to stay in the air, given everything else that was going on. He could have just been getting shot at by that princess for weeks, and it would have killed him anyway. He wanted to get involved and do what he could. And here you can see a lot of units are getting terrified, including these Swordmasters. So it means these Chaos Warriors can push the advantage. And over here, these Swordmasters are also incredibly hurt by the Chaos Warriors and the Marauders that are in the back, the Sorcerer Lord jumping in before. There's been so much stuff focused on these units. Here, though, an Apotheosis on the Spearman. I think that was meant for the Swordmasters. That is a pity. Over here, though, yep, Chaos Sorcerer Lord, he's flying straight up. Yep, he's had enough. His planet needs him. So anyway, over here, you can see Swordmasters still winning. Over here, as they would, they've barely taken a scratch. Over on this side, these Marauders will eventually win out against the Spearman, but this is sort of just, yeah, who really cares what's happening over here at the moment, to be honest. They're there. They'll join in the fight later. For now, they're just mucking about, frankly. This is where the real action is. Exalted Heroes trying to chase down the Princess, and the Sorcerer Lord did come back and is trying to dive on top of this Mage. And you can see Knights are nearby, and a enfeebling foe has been used, and it looks like they are actually attacking each other. And here, ooh, another Tempest. That's going to do a lot of damage. Sorcerer Lord on the edge of it, though, trying to escape that way. And that was a very nice move for the Sorcerer Lord to dive on top of that Mage, because the Mage couldn't have sat there and fought him forever. And it was baiting in that Princess. So with the Knights nearby, the Exalted Heroes chasing, if that Princess had tried to go for the snipe to finish off that Sorcerer Lord, everything could have pinned her down. But this was a beautiful move. Just use the Tempest to just ruin that plan entirely. And the Princess now, just fighting these two on her own, somehow, since Enfeebling Foe is worn out, she is able to completely dumpster these Exalted Heroes. They've taken quite a lot of damage over the course of the battle. So just a couple of hits each and they're both broken. So that's insane. That one dead. Dead, actually. Alright, bye then. Managed to miss the Spearman too. Very well played, Princess. Very well played. Missing a Spearman. But look at the infantry here. And now, Chaos Warriors, they're charging in. Sorry, Chaos Knights. They're charging in over here. Beautiful downhill charge coming for the Swordmasters. Princess very injured, but with the Mage still intact. The Mage hasn't been able to get chased off, which means Apotheosis is still in play. So that Princess very injured, but she could certainly get healthy enough to start diving onto some of these units. So here, a beautiful charge, taking about a third of the Swordmaster's health off. But some of these Chaos Knights are getting a little bit stuck in there, so they are taking some damage in retaliation. But that was definitely a very cost-effective exchange. And now charging to the back of these Scions of Mathalan that are already struggling. It looks like they are very close to breaking. Here, Breath Attack coming in and roasting a bunch of these Chaos Warriors and Marauders. So that is very nice indeed for them. And Scions of Mathalan so close to breaking. And another downhill charge coming for these Sword Masters of Hoeth. It's going to be very, very brutal. I mean, yeah, they get rid of these Marauders, but you don't want a downhill charge from heavy cav. That is going to hurt. So here they come. Here they come. This is going to pick. And, okay, about 10%, 20% of their health. 30% of their health. Wow, 40% of their health gone. They are absolutely knackered. Down to 20 models and very little health. I mean, look at the leadership already. It is so low. I mean, these are Swordmasters. They have fantastic leadership usually. So for them to be on this low leadership, just idle, is kind of insane. So these Chaos Knights really getting their money's worth now, even in that damaged state that they were in. So over here, Princess just shooting people now. She's had an Apotheosis, got a bit more health now. Over here, Exalted Hero being chased off, and way over here, these Heralds of the Wind actually chased off the Sorcerer Lord. So that is a problem. That is a problem. It's only really the Knights with mass here. The Knights the only thing that can really sort of dive on top of units. The rest is just infantry that are very immobile and just have to sit there and take it. So that is dangerous. That is very dangerous. But these Swordmasters getting completely wiped out. He knows he wants to get rid of them because he needs to make sure these guys all stay nice and healthy for the battle that is coming. So here, Swordmasters actually, yep, shattered now. Actually shattered. So Chaos Knights, 133 kills now. Wonderful. So they're going to be coming back up the hill to, you know, try and guard these guys. Another Apotheosis though, and that is becoming a problem. I mean, it's a Star Dragon. The amount of damage it can do, and the terror. I mean, none of this stuff is immune to psychology, and leadership is fairly low at the moment, simply because the Lord is dead. But this does actually favour Chaos. You know, the balance of power is in the favour of Chaos right now, so Flying Taco has the edge in terms of pure value, but he doesn't have the utility anymore. He has one unit of cavalry. If that gets dived, it's going to break very quickly. You know, it can't take 600 damage in one hit, or 580, I suppose. This unit can't afford to take 580 damage in a hit. It just can't. So that just means it's, you know, a load of infantry, and with the amount of mobility that is still left for the High Elves, and a huge amount of armor piercing with this princess, these guys are going to be in trouble if they get picked off, and that's exactly what's happening. So these Chaos Warriors and these Marauders getting wiped out very, very fast, and the princess able to abscond again. So the Chaos Warriors need to stay nice and high and tight, and yeah, these Chaos Knights need to make sure they don't suffer any damage that they don't want to be taking, and it looks like they are taking some of that damage. They're going to have to ooh, they're wavering already. That is bad. Again, not immune to psychology, so they can get terrified. So if they're wavering, the princess gets near them, that's going to be costly. And the princess still actually has some ammunition left, and she is using it to try and whittle down these Chaos Knights. These are the one thing that can ruin the princess's plans. The princess lands, and the Chaos Knights get the charge on her. That charge bonus is going to hurt, but more importantly, they're going to keep her pinned to the ground. And it means that the rest of this infantry can just start hacking. And that's what Chaos wants right now. And it all stems on these Chaos Knights. So here, Mage, yeah, got a bit of a fight with some Chaos Warriors. Seems a bit risky, but, you know, it's good bait. And it has worked. Chaos Knights charging in, trying to pin down that mage to wipe him out, but that just means the Chaos Knights been set up for a charge from the princess. A huge hit there, and they're terrified. Now there is nothing left with mass. The Heralds of the Wind have charged in as well, and that's some Chaos Warriors now terrified, some Marauders now terrified, and these two are very far away. It's going to be very easy for these High Elf units to pull out before the rest of these guys can arrive. And now a rear charge, knocking all of these fleeing units. Now obviously unbraced, they're running for their lives, and so these Illyrian Reaver archers can get some cheeky damage into them. And over here, another Apotheosis, more than making up for any damage it took while it was landed. So that is very, very bad for Chaos. Yet, they are still ahead in the balance of power, which is incredibly surprising. Over here, you can see the Illyrian Reaver archers did get intercepted by these Marauders while chasing the Chaos Knights, but here Rome was on top of it. He made sure to keep pathing the Illyrian Reaver archers towards the Chaos Knights to make sure they get chased off. And they are not coming back. There is no hope for them. Especially because the mage has actually started off these Marauders. They were not in the best of shape either. Also, there are some units of Spearmen coming around. There are some Swordmasters, but I don't think they're going to last very long in a fight with only 12 models and 2 leadership. That's right, 2 leadership while idle. Oh nope, 7. Alright, this could be worse. But yeah, they're not going to last long in a fight, especially against a load of armor-piercing units, of which that's basically all that is left over here, just the armor-piercing units. And the balance power is starting to shift more towards the High Elves. So over here, Heralds of the Wind, still just probing around, they're doing what they like. Over here, these Illyrian Reaver archers have managed to get rid of those Chaos Knights, I believe. I think the Chaos Knights did. Yeah, I think they are gone now. And the mage is returning too. So, over here, some Marauders did get into contact. I think Marauders anyway. Nope, Chaos Warriors were having a bit of a fight here. Princess has wiped them out and can now pick the next target. This is very bad for Chaos. They just don't have any options left. They just have to sit and hope they can withstand any attack. That's pretty much their only move right now, given their composition. Over here, though, oh, these Marauders did come back. Maybe they'll get a bit of extra damage to those Illyrian Reaver archers. That'd be nice. So, Princess did actually land just then. How about that? So now, Chaos Warriors, nope, they're making sure not to keep charging. Oh, they're starting to move up. Starting to move up, trying to screen the Princess away a bit. Not much else they can do. So Mage, using the Starwood Staff again to increase the power reserves, very handy. I mean, that and the Book of Hoeth are brilliant. You get so much magic out of these mages. The High Elf magic users are really good in a long game like this. They can get a lot more spells out right in the final hour than any other faction, you know, with these great items of theirs. So very scary indeed, especially when there's no magic user for Chaos. You know, they've got no other tools there. So the Princess on 1300 health, very scary, and you can see the cavalry has all returned and is trying to find a nice surround, you know, while the Princess picks her next victim. So here you can see the spearmen are charging in, and the Princess charging into the rear of them, as is the mage. A side charge into the flank from the Herald of the Wind, and that is every leadership penalty that those guys could possibly take, and that's enough to terrify them. That is one unit now finished off. Well, I say finished off. It can still return. It can still return, of course. It's only terrified. It will recover, and luckily it is running back through the other Chaos lines somewhat. So, okay, it has stabilized. Very injured, though. It's not going to take much to break them now. And the spearmen are holding out for a bit. So now another dive by the Princess. I mean, she's only lost 60 health. Only lost 60 health. 64 health, I guess. So, yeah, pretty ridiculous. So she's diving through this lot. There goes those Chaos Warriors. They're actually routed now. And very, very injured. And the rest of these units starting to take a bit of damage too. But so are the Illyrian Reaver Archers. The Heralds of the Wind as well. Look like they're on the last legs. They're probably going to break as well, I imagine. Might just hold. Yeah, looks like they're just holding. But those guys are gone. The Mage is sat here fighting very, very good infantry that it doesn't really want to. But it's got to keep this stuff busy somehow. Another charge from the Heralds of the Wind. Trying to help break these Chaos Warriors. We can see now, down to 960, the Princess is taking a lot of hurt all of a sudden. She is taking a lot of damage, and there's not a lot of other backup. There's not other things that can run in here, knock these guys over, and allow the Princess to get in and do some damage and slip out again. You know, there's no anchoring force left. All the spearmen are gone. And these Chaos Warriors are actually coming back, which is very brutal. So the Princess now on 700 health. Over here, Mage, using Starwood Staff again, trying to eke out another spell. Another Apotheosis on this Princess would be incredible. But she's so injured, and she breaks. She breaks. And now the Mage is stuck. And Flying Taco knows there's nowhere else to go. Yep. Pyrrhic victory. Aww. Poor Princess. She worked hard for that. She worked very hard for that. But Chaos, this is just beautiful. This is a beautiful game. The fact that Chaos, they just won the battle on the ground so decisively. I mean, yeah, the Chaos Sorcerer Lord was... He was being pretty aggressive, and that did sort of cost him. But it just gave so much support. There was so much terror flying around that was helping out the ground forces, and it kept the Princess busy. So the Princess couldn't really aid in those fights on the ground so much. She did get some good hits into those Chaos Knights, you know, at one point, but generally it was difficult for her to really help out her front line. And it just meant that, yeah, the front line was lost for the High Elves, and sure, they had plenty of tools, but when you're against that, you know, such heavily armoured things, the only damage dealer that was left was the Princess. Everything else that was left was enough to sort of tickle and bother the Chaos Warriors. It was only the real Princess that could do damage, and for that she had to stay in combat and put in the work, because none of what was left of her forces could have actually held anything in place long enough, you know, for her to come in, get out, and then for them to leave and hopefully get another target. Once they were in, they were going to be until they died, because they didn't have the health to be able to retreat and try the maneuver again. And yeah, it just meant the Princess couldn't quite do it on her own, which is a real pity. Real pity. I was kind of rooting for her. I know it wasn't sent in by Hero Rome, but just the work she put in, I kind of felt like she deserved that. But yeah, I'd say the Chaos Warriors, they hung in there very impressively, and those Chaos Knights just did a great job. 3 chevrons on them, superb. Absolutely superb. So Long Tan and Handsome, or Flying Taco, as he's commonly known. Absolutely superb. So guys, thanks for this game. This was a lovely one. So guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.